Oh, right.
That's been meeting for about 17 years now.
That's, well, we'll talk a little on the break, or you can talk about it during the show.
Absolutely. I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
See what's going on here.
You
You ready
got
for it?
some good stuff to talk
And
about.
the workshop, too, maybe, if we can
Sure.
mention it. I don't know if we can. I didn't put that on there. I should have brought the flyer.
It's all about the plugging here.
That's
the best.
exactly. And Mark, you have some good, I know I've got your email here for you. And then is there some other stuff?
Oh, I got stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I was, first of all, I want to say I'll do a little plug for the show because one of my competitors asked me about it.
Oh, really?
It was really cool. So we're going to talk about that. And
Right.
and then his client walked up to me and said, "What do you guys talk about?" And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that because the word is out about the best of investing. That's what I want to say. I mean,
Very
geez,
cool.
when the competition gets nervous, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, what?
Well, the thing is, we go to where I met Mark.
Right.
There's a commercial mortgage broker meeting once a month for McGinnis, and they usually get about 70 people there. Great breakfast and all that. Everyone gets a chance to kind of pitch their latest thing. And out of all the guys who are there, there's probably, I'd say, 3 guys who are, I would call special. Right? And Mark was one of them.
There you go.
So I kind of went up to him afterward and I said, "Hey, I got this show, and if you're interested." Some of the guys I would definitely not invite.
Right.
Nice
you to
guys,
sleep
but I
or
just wouldn't.
something,
Yeah, I just wouldn't want them on the air. The whole thing is to do good radio. That's all I care about.
That's all about.
It's all
Thank
about
you,
the
Mark.
entertainment,
Yep,
yeah.
All about the
appreciate it.
entertainment, exactly. All right.
Give information.
Okay. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. So the first segment here is 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay.
For those of you that
Yes.
I was gonna. I would put it. I was gonna put my timer on, but I'm afraid it might ring. So I'll just watch that out there.
So you got it on there?
yeah, I'm just going to hit start and I'll.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Mark Cooper of HL Commercial. Mark is off again today. That rascal is traveling. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. And that certificate is not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. You got to get your tan on, right? Get to be the summer months. You want to get that pre-tan before the regular tan. Check them out. Today's trivia theme is random trivia. Our special guest today is Mike Morrongiello of Bay Area Wealth Builders. I've known Mike for a couple of years here, and he runs this Bay Area Wealth Builders, and you put out some pretty darn good workshops, I got to say.
Thank you, Edward. Yeah, we've been meeting for 17 years now, if you can believe that. So I guess we've been doing something okay.
Yeah, and you've gone through a few cycles.
Yes, we have seen a few cycles, particularly in the real estate market here in the Bay Area. Definitely.
Good. And Mark Cooper, you wanted to say something about the best of investing. Tell us.
Oh, we're going to jump right in here.
Sure.
Mark Cooper, HL Commercial. I do sales and leasing of commercial properties in Marin County and Sonoma. Interesting enough, I was telling Edward here before we got started that one of my competitors actually approached me during the week, and he said, "Is H&L advertising on the radio now?" And I said, "Well, why do you ask?" And he goes, "Well, one of my clients said, what's H&L doing that we're not doing? They're on the radio."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, actually, I've got a show that I do with Edward. It's called The Best of Investing." And the next question was, "Well, what do you guys talk about?" And I said, "Well, we talk about everything. We talk about interest rates. We talk about opportunities." I said, "In fact, I'm going to talk about what we're talking about right now, which is, does H&L invest in advertising?" I said, "We do something even better. We offer content and value to people that listen to the radio show, and Edward gives away some great prizes." And actually, there is an interesting office opportunity I was going to mention because people are running out of stuff in Marin in terms of office spaces. The rates are going up and up. And 505 San Marin Drive, not my listing, but a beautiful property, and much more affordable than we're seeing here in downtown San Rafael. The rates are great, and I've been putting tenants up in Novato, plenty of parking, and really nice buildings that have been remodeled up there, 505 San Marin Drive. So I'll talk about that a little bit later on.
I was going to say, because I want to find
a little
out
later on. It's like, and I'll get all the facts for you guys. So,
maybe I'll buy it before the audience.
Well, this is actually a building that's for lease that was recently purchased, and the new owners are doing some fantastic renovations and really doing a lot of tenant improvements to build the space out nicely. So that's the scoop
we'll
there.
Talk a little bit more about that. Now, Mike, you actually have a lot of good things to go over here. Well, I'll let you start off because you have a whole bunch of good stuff to
Yeah,
talk
sure.
about. What do you want to start off with?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of discussion if Congress can get something done in Washington about tax changes coming, tax overhaul. And I think that you and I have talked a little bit about this, but for the audience, the last time that took place in the United States is 31 years ago, mid-1980s. It's been that long where there's been major tax overhaul of the tax code. So the question I guess a lot of people should be asking themselves is what is going to be some of the winners and losers, and how is this policy going to be formed? And there's a lot of discussion about what may be, on the chopping block, or could be happening in terms of moving forward, including things such as the tax deferred exchanging 1031, code.
Yeah, we at one of our brokers meetings we talked about that. We have a specialist on 1031, and it's amazing the impact. A lot of people, the average person out there says, "Well, who cares about that, right?" But you think about all the escrow officers, the title insurance, the real estate brokers, yada yada yada. It's not just one guy exchanging for one other building, and it's like, who cares? And it actually affects a lot.
It's gonna really affect things if they change that 1031 exchange in a bad way. In a bad way. I mean, there's one buyer or seller not being able to exchange could kill 10 other deals because everybody's going from one to the other.
Yeah.
No, not to mention the tax impact as well. I mean, and that's of course one of the things that I think most people are looking at, is that how can we minimize paying our quote-unquote fair share, or more than our fair share over time.
And what is the definition of fair share, by the way?
I can never get a straight answer from people when I ask them that. I think it varies for different people.
Well, we used to joke that the original 1040 form used to just have two lines. Well, the first one was, how much did you make, and the next one was send it in. So that's the fair share back then. That's crazy. So that potentially could be ending. So that would be a bad thing. What else might be ending?
Well, there's discussion about 121, which is the
1021.
1021, excuse me, the exemption that's given you on gains if you live in a house 2 out of the last 5 years. That would have a major impact, I think, on real estate values if that goes away. There's discussion about eliminating mortgage interest deductions.
They've been talking about that for years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've been talking about it. Again, many of this may not get through. Some of it could get through. The other big thing I think that could have a very big impact is the elimination of state and local taxes, being able to be deducting those off your federal income. In high tax states like the Golden State, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, states like that. Think about it. I mean, if you can't deduct what you're paying at the state and local level off your federal taxes, that could have a very serious impact.
But you know what? There's so many people in the AMT that they don't get that deduction anyway. But I know what you mean, though. It's
well, the death tax is being talked about eliminated as well.
Well, like
that's
I said,
a good thing.
And you know what? I've said before, George Steinbrenner was very intelligent because he died in 2010 when there was no estate tax.
He picked the right
year. He did. Yeah, he won the lottery in that regard, so to speak.
Or his heirs did. That's for sure. Tell you what, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go over some more of the pluses and minuses of these potential tax overhauls. Want to make a quick mention here. So get this, I checked out the Transcendence, I guess is a better way to say it, theater company's award-winning concert series, Broadway Under the Stars. Now, they performed at the Marin Civic Center earlier in the year, and it actually was fantastic. I'm going to do it again. It returns to Sonoma Valley this year. You can experience world-class wine and picnicking alongside sprawling vineyards all summer long, beginning June 16th. They're going to be at the Jack London State Historic Park. Check them out because you'll have the Broadway performers from shows such as Wicked, Mamma Mia, and The Book of Mormon. Tickets and information at bestnightever.org. Check that out. Okay, so here is our first commercial break trivia question. And again, if you know this, don't answer yet. What color did the Hulk originally start as? Okay, so we're talking about the Incredible Hulk. We all know he's green, but there was a different color that he originally was starting out at. And the first caller with the correct answer is going to win that free Tan Bella certificate that's worth 5 tanning services, which is worth about $150. You can call 888-912-1190 with the correct answer, and we will get back to you. Don't touch that dial because the best of investing will be right back. All right. That's segment numero uno.
All right, so I already kind of blew through my questions, my email question, which I already kind of answered, which was, but I mean, it almost looks suspicious if they say, what do people do if they can't rent a space? So I think I want to modify it. Well, okay, all right.
I mean, it's like I was thinking about that, but I thought, no,
we got to
expand on it.
Expand. There we go. Expand. And by the way, I want to say, Mike, you have a great radio voice.
I've been told
really
that
do,
before,
actually.
and I have been on the radio before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just with Edward, but other
It's like
programs.
it's like it's coming from the dial.
Yeah. See me, I got
It might be my cold helping too a little bit.
Right. I got to do something about this radio voice here. There we go.
Yeah, it's funny. By the way, since you're doing a lot of commercial, I want to mention to you before we part here, though. I have a unique property I'm bringing on the market in Fairfield. Now it is residential, but let me tell you about this property. It's a house with a granny unit, which is the house is about 1,350 square feet, legal granny unit, and a 3,000 square foot shop garage with 3 roll-up bay doors. When we've been renovating this house, our tradespeople that have been seeing this house have been salivating.
Sure.
They come look
How much
at
are you
it.
going to ask for?
We're going to be bringing it on at about $499, the property for sale.
How much land is it?
It's on a huge lot. It's on a third, 0.34 of an acre, I believe. It's right off Air Force Base Parkway in Fairfield.
Which is funny because we own lots of acreage
Near there. Yeah.
Airbase where we have mitigation land bank credits that we're trying to sell.
Okay.
Here.
So this is a unique property because it's being marketed to somebody in the trades or a small business person that maybe wants to use the space for an office or.
And how do you get the word out? You put on MLS and stuff like that?
Well, we're going to list it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just had a listing agreement. We had a couple of meetings today with some agents to list it with an aggressive Remax team out there or another agent that I know.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know anybody out there. Really.
But I said I mentioned since you're dealing with business people, but maybe not trade people, or somebody even has toys, somebody has collectibles.
But you can mention that on the air.
Oh yeah,
it's
it's all
good.
about plugging the stuff.
So toys.
It's tough because like I just took a listing in Forest Knolls. I just came from there.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, now I want to approve all marketing materials before. And I was like, I want to just tell you about this deal.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good size. Like, because mine might be an acre with a bunch of houses and retail and all this. But it's like I can't quite talk about it yet. I'm like gag order.
So you have the listing.
I got the listing.
Well, you got the listing. Okay.
I got the listing,
the
but she's like this. Let me know when we go back. But this was a property that's approved for medical marijuana.
Okay. Yeah.
They just need the right operator and a supportive neighborhood and stuff. And I don't know if you've heard about the medical marijuana in Marin, like what up to date, but they had 10 applications and all 10 were rejected. Yeah, so crazy, and they're threatening class action lawsuit because the city just took $16,000 from every applicant and then rejected them. They didn't approve it. 10,000 once and 6,000 to appeal. So everybody paid 10. They got $100,000. All 10 appealed.
Right.
And they said, "This is why I should be." Maybe 2 pages stuck together. You didn't see my security plan or whatever it was, And so so it's like they're all up in arms about this.
I call that fleecing.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
That's what they did.
So,
The county. Doesn't surprise me either.
Really. Let's see. This here.
What's the next segment time?
Next segment time is 7:58.
Okay, it's a long one.
Yeah. Then it goes 8:40, 9:19, and then 5:10. One last mention here too, and then we'll continue on.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Then
We
Mark,
can go down memory lane.
Okay. Mark, when do you want to go through?
Oh, whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I want to. I got to award some Facebook winners their movie tickets around here. So so I better get those out, right? Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, besides me, who else won?
I got a guy that was an electrician. He actually expanded on it. He said commercial real estate in Marin. I know a guy. and that was it. He tagged me. It was really cool. So
That's cool.
So this,
I like
but
that.
he was somebody in BNI in my networking group that I told about the same things, not just from the radio, but I think I want to keep it rolling, and of course everyone's eligible, and I'll tell you about what
Sure,
things
that sounds
are
cool.
It's kinda
stocked
fun.
up on the stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's hit it. Ready? Okay, here we go. Gonna push you. Do you have this?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my co-host Mark Cooper of HL Commercial. Now, we asked the first trivia question: what color did the Hulk originally start as?
I'm gonna go with red.
No,
And I'm going to choose something that's akin to home, orange.
no, it was gray.
Ooh,
He started off as gray. I'm glad they
Yeah,
changed to
oh,
green. That's a lot
jeez.
better.
gray Hulk.
one. Yeah, I know. It's good. That's
I'm so mad. I'm draining all color from my body right now.
exactly.
I would have never thought gray.
That's
I
like
wouldn't
a
have
dead
thought
Hulk.
that was a hard one. There.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, want to make a mention also for the Mount Shasta Resort Golf place. So, how far would you go for an unforgettable round of golf? The Mount Shasta Resort is much closer than you think. Enjoy the crisp mountain air, breathtaking views, and one of California's finest golf courses. If you call 530-926-3050 for your tee time, you will receive a free green fee when you bring your driver's license and during your month of your birthday.
And that's
So
a beautiful part of the state.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Oh, it's nice up there.
also, you can go skiing up there at very reasonable rates too. So check them out, MountShastaResort.com for an unforgettable round of golf. Book your tee time now. All right. So we are in the studio here with Mike Morrongiello, and I pronounced that correctly, didn't I?
You did real well,
Oh, thank
Edward,
you.
yes. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. So, Mike, you've got some pretty interesting things about the pros and cons of what may be coming down the pike for changes in the tax code. So far, we've heard a couple of negatives. Any positives?
Well, there's discussion about making it simpler, if there is such a thing. 7
Silly.
brackets to 3 brackets is what I've been hearing. Again, all of this is conjecture right now until Congress does their thing, and whether they will get their thing through. But that is certainly something that's been brought up.
And have they said what they're anticipating the 3 to be?
The 3 brackets, I don't think it's been finalized yet. I know that there's discussion on the corporate side to go down to perhaps 15 or 20%.
Well, glad it's not 0, 50, and 100%.
You know, well, right now our corporate tax rates are among the highest in the world, so that I think does need to be addressed.
And they're talking about when they're going from the 7 to the 3. Is that only corporate?
No, that's I think
That's
that's to go for individuals. So that should again the idea is to create stimulus, and because our economy has been somewhat anemic, you know, the last 8 plus or minus years, and I think that these are different. This is a different method of attacking the economy and trying to create some pro-growth policies.
How about the investment tax credit, bringing that back?
Well, that would be nice too, or even again lowering capital gains. That would, I think, clearly have a stimulative effect also.
So
or eliminating capital gains.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. Now I remember many years ago when the stock market was high. This is before the downturn of 2007, 8, et cetera. You know, real estate was high and the stock market was high, and we sort of did kind of and I say we, just some colleagues of mine, we kind of sort of gently figured out that the entire United States deficit could have been wiped out in about 2 years if you would have lowered the capital gains tax to about 9%. You go, how could that be? Well, you get these super uber wealthy people, let's say like Zuckerberg as an example, right? He owns Facebook at a penny, and he says, I'm not gonna sell if I have to pay 20% or 15% tax, but at 9%, that's low enough to where he would, a guy like him would bite the bullet, get a stepped up basis, pay the tax, be done with it. And that's just for stock. Could have been real estate that's been held in the family for 100 years, etc. But there's a nice politician, I don't remember his name, but he's on the left side, let's call him, who says, basically, kind of sums it all up. He says, I don't care if it destroys the economy as long as the rich pay taxes.
There you go.
And there you go, exactly. And that's why capital gains taxes don't get lowered to those rates.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. There's one variation of that is the repatriation that's being discussed of bringing money overseas back into the United States. where there is anywhere from estimates from $2 to $5 to $6 trillion that's over in other countries by companies that are based here, but yet they don't want to bring it back to the United States because of the high tax rates that we have.
How can we blame them? People know it's un-American. Well, you know what? Just lower the taxes. I get this is one of those hot topics for me because
you're passionate here.
Yes, I am. I mean, I'd rather have 1% of $1 trillion than 99% of $1,000.
Well, I'll just leave you and your audience with this thought, and that is that it's been said that one of the things that also lacks in terms of critical thinking is that that's part of the national deficit that we have coming out of Washington. There's a lack of critical thinking going on, and this tax code, if it does come, and there's some changes that take place, I think all of us, and certainly your audience, needs to be thinking, what and how will that affect my investments, and particularly my real estate investments.
Yeah. Good point. You talking about the death tax? Did we say that off air?
We mentioned it, that
during the year?
One of the proposals is to eliminate it, which I think is probably a good thing because I think that's the ultimate insult.
Exactly.
You accumulate, you pay taxes, probably pre-tax money, doing that accumulation, and then when your demise takes place, you're then being taxed at probably some of the highest rates too, depending on the size of your state.
I mean, on what basis? I think the Beatles were right? They're going to tax the air you breathe.
Yeah,
there's no concept for me as to why they should say, oh, when you die, we're not going to let your heirs have as much. We've just decided to take it. I'm just in one of those moods today. I gotta say, I'm just in one of those moods.
You're hot and bothered about it.
I am hot and bothered. I don't like. Stop taking all my money, right?
Right.
All right. Let's see. You know what? We've got about another 30, 40 seconds before we have to go to another break. Go ahead, Mark. What do you want?
So last month we had the announcement of take a selfie in front of the HL commercial sign.
I remember.
Friend me on Facebook, tag me, and you win 2 free movie tickets. So I want to award these 2 movie tickets to Edward Brown,
yes!
the best of investing.
The fans go wild.
Who got the movie tickets? You
Thank you, sir.
Stood in front of my sign at 818 Fifth Avenue. We did have a second winner. Jay Pacheco was over on Francisco Boulevard, and he got 2 free movie tickets. Remember, friend me on Facebook, do a selfie, and tag me in the picture. You win 2 free movie tickets. And I appreciate everybody that's played along there.
And I gotta say, they are real. I do. He actually does do that. I appreciate that.
Cool.
That's really cool. Very cool.
Absolutely,
sir. I think I'm gonna do this every day.
No, it's one per customer.
Oh man, what a rip off.
customer.
Okay, here we go. Here's our second trivia question. What model was married to musician Billy Joel? That's a little easier for those who are a little bit older like me. All right. So. Phone number is 888-912-1190. Be the first caller. Get on those phones really quickly. If you're the first caller, you win that free tanning certificate worth about $150, I believe. Don't touch that down. Best of Investing. We'll be right back.
I actually have a funny story about the answer to this one. So a short snippet. Yeah. I better be right.
You better be.
I better be right. Yeah.
And even though Mark Hunt isn't here, I do have like a deal.
You're talking about the trivia question.
Trivia question.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. So how many strong are you guys? 5,000 members strong or something?
At our meetings?
Well,
the
see.
meetings you get.
About 100.
And if you could explain it a little bit, I mean, sometimes people, I get approached by folks and they go, I put together a pool of investors,
right,
a bunch of my friends, and we're looking to buy like a duplex, triplex in like the Berkeley Hills, right?
Right.
And so and so's got 10 grand, and somebody else has got 20, I'm like, well, why don't you just buy it all by yourself?
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I'm putting together this part, and I don't know if that's the people that you're talking to. And I said, well, are you guys going to do an agent? And they're like, no, we just write up the papers and we have the attorney do it or something like that. So I'm like, well, first of all, if it's a listed property, there's a commission on the table. So you got representation for free by having an agent help you.
True.
There's disclosures, there's inspections, there's all this type of stuff to prevent someone from making a mistake and getting taken advantage of. So I just wanted to make sure some of these, I don't know if it's one of these like, hey, no money down type of deals.
Yeah.
Are these people getting the education that they need if that's what's going? And I don't know if we should talk about that on the air.
He actually does. I got to say, And I can't speak for all the
Yeah.
people who
Right.
go to those meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
But I got to, I mean, because, you know, there's people are people.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I got great news. I just cashed out my life savings, and I'm not going to be living in this trailer park much more because I'm doing the no money down. And I'm like,
or I just
whoa,
spent $50,000 to go to Robert Kiyosaki's
Yes, exactly.
mentoring program.
Yeah.
No,
But
we shy away from
seriously,
that.
I've been to a few of Mike's, and I got to say, I mean,
I'd love
Mike
to do
actually
this
does-
on the air and go and plug this thing.
Yeah,
a little
oh
bit.
yeah, no, he does. a
I'd
very
love
good
to,
job.
if you want to mention it, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
I got to say, and I'll say that.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what we're all about.
Yeah, and then I was going to talk a little more about our question and stuff like that. We got time, right?
Yeah. So this one is going to be 8:40.
Time flies here.
Let me, I'll
40? Okay.
Yeah. So, and we'll answer the question. I do want to say about the deal of the week, and then we'll go into this
Okay.
one. Okay, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Cooper of HL Commercial. Second trivia question: what model was married to musician Billy Joel?
Ooh, I've got this one, Mark Cooper. Okay, so the year was 1989. I was living in Keystone, Colorado.
Okay.
I was working at a ski area. My buddy was a Domino's pizza delivery guy. Okay, so he goes, "You're never gonna believe who I just delivered a pizza to." I rang the doorbell, and Christine Brinkley, the supermodel,
That's it.
answered the door,
Christine
and I
Brinkley.
delivered a pizza. I said, "How did she look?" And he goes, "Well, she was kind of in sweats, and her hair was messy and all that stuff, but it was Christine Brinkley,
Christine
married to
Brinkley,
Billy
yeah.
Joel." Is
Still
he
beautiful.
still married? Still married to Billy Joel?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
So I don't think that lasted that long.
No. That was prime time Christine Brinkley.
That's
But
it.
to Edward's point, yeah, she still looks mighty fine.
Yeah, it's like Kathy Ireland. I've had her on the show before, and she's one of those women who's aged. I think she looks better now than she did when she was a swimsuit model.
They say that about wine.
Yeah, exactly. My wife actually looked better after we got married too, because she kept in shape. So anyway, Mark Hunt isn't here, but I did want to mention a deal of the week that we're looking at. So there is a property in San Francisco. There's a first mortgage of $360,000. This borrower needs a second to pay off his current second, as well as pay off some old bills, back real estate taxes, etc. Because he basically he lost his job. No bank will give him any money right now. He's got a bunch of tenants in there because the place is large. So he's got like 3 or 4 people paying him like $1,000 a month. Plus, he's about to get a job pretty soon. That'll still pay him, $100,000 a year or whatever. The problem is that even if he gets the job today, no bank will give him any money because he hasn't been working at that place long enough. The issue is, how much can he borrow because of the fact that how's he going to make the payments? So we're looking at giving him enough money to bank about 11 months worth of mortgage payments, and we're still going to be very well secured on the property. So the interest rate the guy's going to be paying is over 10%, and the loan to value is going to be under 75%. He thinks that the value is a lot higher. The appraisal came in a little bit low, so we're kind of discussing that. But basically, what we're looking at is a pretty well secured. It's an okay area in San Francisco. It's not, Pacific Heights, but it's an okay area. And if we had to take it over, or if Pacific Private Money had to take it over, they could easily flip it and actually.
But you guys are in first position, or
no, we'd be a second.
You'd be in second.
Yeah, but it's the first is only 360, so it's and the second he's looking for is probably around 200 and something thousand. So it's a decent ratio.
Nice.
And that's the sort of investment that Pacific Private Money gets involved with. And this one happens to be a second, but usually they do first, and they keep the loan to value under 70% usually. Unless the area is a specific one that they know well enough that they can do 75%. And for more information on investing your money with them and getting a decent return and very conservative value, 415-883-2150. That would be Mark Hunt of Pacific Private Money. All right, so Mark, what else did you want to cover?
I think we had some email.
Oh,
questions.
yes, we did. That is correct. Okay, so an email comes in. It says, "Why are office rates so high now? For years, our lease was $2 per square foot, and now rates have jumped to over $3."
Oh, okay, great. This is a good one. Easy. What do they say? Softball. So,
Yeah.
Mark Cooper, HL Commercial. I do a ton of leasing here in San Rafael, and we talked about this before on the show, that BioMarin purchased several buildings here in San Rafael and kind of booted out those tenants when the leases were gone, and we're very happy to have them here. But what that did was cause a lack of available space in San Rafael, and that pushed up the rates. And all of Southern Marin was seeing that. So I'm seeing spaces in Larkspur, $5 per foot.
No way.
$5 per foot per month, or $60 for those of you that see annual rates. So folks who have been in a building before and it turn around, they go, "Oh my God, $6 per foot. This is insane." So what do folks do when they're used to paying $2 and the landlord comes and says, "I want $4 or $5 a foot"? What a lot of folks are doing. This kind of gets back to I was talking about going to Novato. I live in Tiburon. My current office is in Terra Linda in the Vineyard. I've got a reverse commute. I drive north in the morning. I drive south at the end of the day. So actually going a little farther north is no big deal if you're going there for your office. So I would definitely consider Terra Linda. I'd even look at this property like 505 San Marin Drive in Novato. They've got 21,000 vacant square feet. You could put a full corporate office in there with tons of employees, a lot of free parking, no traffic. So I'd say hands down that beats a Larkspur, Sausalito with the traffic and the high rates. If you're in Marin, and you know what? When you get to a larger company like that, the majority of those employees are coming from Petaluma. They're coming from Rohnert Park. They don't have to be stuck in the traffic either. So I'd say definitely consider going farther north. I've had people kick it and scream and go, "I'd never look at Hamilton." And I bring them out there to Hamilton, and they love it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They love Hamilton, and the rates are very competitive. We've got some great local landlords that are willing to do tenant improvements out there. So I'd say pick a great commercial broker, have them show you the market. The commissions are paid by the landlords, and they're happy to bring good tenants. So
and have less stress.
Absolutely, less stress.
That's a good point. How do people get a hold of you, Mark?
415-608-1036. That's my cell phone number, and my email is mark, M-A-R-K, @hlcre.com.
Hungry Lion crosses river easily.
I love it.
I remembered.
HLCRE.com. Hungry Lion crosses river easily.
Very good. So, Mike, you are the president, right, of Bay Area Wealth Builders.
I like to call myself the program director.
Program director.
President's okay.
Okay.
We're one of the founders.
One of the founders. Okay. And I've been to a couple of your events, and I gotta say that first of all, you're very knowledgeable, and I really appreciate that. But also, you'll invite speakers who are also very knowledgeable. And so it's not just a typical real estate one. Hey, how can you buy something? No money down, blah blah. It's not that kind of.
No, it isn't that type of a meeting. We focus. We've been meeting, as I said earlier, for 17 years, and we focus primarily on high quality education, information, discussion, and networking opportunities for both the beginning and seasoned real estate investor.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time. I know you, both of you guys have been at it a while. We're always learning new things.
Yeah,
and the markets are always changing and the techniques are changing. So our goal is to bring in speakers on different topics that are in tune with what's happening around us, and that might involve different topics of interest, such as foreclosure or management or financing or negotiation, or buying or selling or leasing or optioning or managing property. And we have those speakers share their experiences and their insights, and it's been pretty well received. We don't always hit a home run every month, but I do know that there's generally a good learning experience if you come out.
Well, usually the ones that I've been to, there was at least 100 people in each.
Where do you guys meet?
We've been meeting lately at the Best Western Court to Madeira Inn, right off Highway 101, so easy to get to, and it's good networking. That's the other big thing is that camaraderie between between like-minded folks.
Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that because I know you have an event coming up that we want to go ahead and promote. All right, so here's our third trivia question. Prior to the early 1980s, the Japanese automaker Nissan was known by what name? All right, first caller with the correct answer is going to win that free tan. But you know this one too. Oh, you rascal! This one's not that hard either. It's 888-912-1190. Be the first one with the correct answer. You win that tan bell certificate. Don't touch that down. We're going to be right back.
You've got this, Mike.
I think I'm stumped on this.
Oh, I
got it there.
Last month I was throwing puns into my answers too, right? I was saying I think I'm stumped, and then the answer was like
maybe
tree
tree
stump.
yeah.
I
was going to say Kubota or something like that.
Oh boy!
I think they're a heavy equipment manufacturer.
Yeah, Kubota. Yeah, what is it? Those,
Kubota.
they make those tractors. Yeah.
What am I
Yeah.
seeing here?
Oh, Dotson was.
Oh, you got it.
Okay,
got
so
it.
I was
knew it
gonna
got
say.
to
I
me.
was gonna say nobody demands
All right.
more from a Dotson.
Okay.
We
Now,
got
just
Dotson.
because I was thinking of the Z.
Yeah,
The famous.
that was the Dotson 280.
That's the yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I will let you field this one.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what I was thinking is like I know the answers, so I can get my kid to call in on Saturday and win those $10 tickets.
That would be cool.
Okay, good.
Right?
Hello,
Yeah.
Treat.
Right? First,
Absolutely.
the first right answer or something.
Yep.
Like that, yeah. Yeah. There's probably better ways to. I don't know if I want her tan, but yeah. You have kids, Mike?
Yeah, I have two. Yeah, my the reason I'm very into this tax policy and stuff is my daughter's working at the White House right now.
Oh,
geez.
So
that's why you said don't call me the president.
Yeah.
Well, no, she doesn't work for the administration. She's in journalism, but she she's very involved in it, and she's working for the New York Post right now as their chief bureau correspondent. So she just got that position for about 6 months ago. Sixth largest circulating paper in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lots to write about too.
Oh my gosh, it's a 24/7 news cycle. It never
I
ends.
can imagine. Okay, so that was our 8:40 one. This one's the long one, 9:19.
Oh, this is the long one.
This is
Okay.
the long one. Yeah, the next one's going to be
Right.
wrap up. Ready?
Okay.
Welcome back to the Best of Investing. This is the last time we have one more segment. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Cooper of HL Commercial. Prior to the early 1980s, the Japanese automaker Nissan was known by what name?
You know, I had a brain revelation all of a sudden during the break. Datsun.
That's correct.
Nice.
Remember the old Datsun 240Z?
That was quite a ride.
Oh, that's a great
Collector's
car.
item.
Yeah, now it's collector's item.
Yeah.
So, Mike, being the founder of the Bay Area Wealth Builders, you have an event coming up?
Yeah, we really do have a big one coming up. We're calling it a blockbuster educational event. And it's going to be coming to the Bay Area in October 21st, 22nd. It'll be held down near the SFO airport. And the event is being called Busts, Booms, and Beyond, with a big question mark after the word beyond. Because I think that's top of the mind for a lot of people right now. We went through a bust period. We're kind of in the stages of a boom period. Whether that's still going to run on or not, time will tell. And I think the big thing that a lot of people are thinking is, where do we go from here? And what can we do to protect ourselves and maybe protect and save against some of these losses that we've maybe captured, these gains we've captured over time.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing in two speakers. They're kind of well known in the educational industry, a gentleman by the name of Peter Fortunato and another gentleman by the name of John Schaub. John Schaub wrote a wonderful book called Building Wealth One House at a Time, which is a really well done book. And they're going to be the two presenters, and they'll be at this meeting. And it's rare for them to come to the Bay Area, let alone rare for them to teach together. So it's a wonderful opportunity for people to come out, learn a little bit about their insights in this market and what their take is, and also to catch them.
Kind of put you on the spot. Are there any benefits for our Best of Investing listeners
Well,
if they get early registration?
There is, and thank you for that. And there is a pre-registration incentive. We always encourage people to register early because we give them a discount if they do that. And then we have a couple of bonuses we'll throw in. So we have that on our website, and they can find out more information on the class by going to our website, which is www.bawb.info. That's www.bawb.info, and then just click on the link about workshops.
Which stands for Bay Area Wealth Builders. And I got to say, I remember Mark Confet did a presentation one time for your group. And I was thinking, well, Mark, how would that work? Because, Mark usually does, 70% or less loan to value. And the way he worked it is he explained to these people there that the attendees is, if you're thinking about buying real estate, you don't have enough down, talk it over with a couple of people you want to get in with, and then you'll have, be like a joint venture. Because Mark himself maybe doesn't do a joint venture. He'll just be the bank, basically.
Right.
So Joe gets with Fred. They put together their 35% down, and then they have their little partnership, still no bank is going to lend to them, but Mark may because it's only 65% loan to value. So it's a good way
That's
to
a creative way of structuring a deal, or doing some stopgap funding, to help get into a property if you lack the down payment, which a lot of people do in this market. They don't have the money to put down.
Yeah, the other way Mark does it is a lot of people have a hard time beating out these all cash buyers or being able to close in 10 days. But Pacific Private Money does provide money quickly, and so people can go in with a quote all cash offer, even though they're using Pacific Private Money's 65%. So
Very, very powerful. If
yeah.
I'm a seller and I'm looking at that and weighing it against other offers, and I see that there's backing that is behind the offer, I think that's going to carry a lot of weight with me as a prospective seller looking at a buyer.
So you may even get a discount off the price compared to other people who are, well, I'll make a contingent offer, but I'll give you $100,000 more. And they go, yeah, no.
or seller carry for that matter when they just want to cash out.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mark, what else you got for us? I know. You know what? There was another question that came in that's probably right up your alley. And it says, what is a load factor? And does that make a difference to what a tenant pays?
Oh, that's a good question, too. So we're back to office leasing here. And I'd say in a nutshell, a load factor is an architectural measurement to offset the common areas of the property. I have a building in Terra Linda where the doors are on the exterior of the building, so there's no... Your exterior door goes right into your unit. We have no load factor. So a 10 by 10 room is 100 square feet. I'm just using easy numbers here. And 100 square feet is what you pay for. It's $2 a foot, and you pay $200 a month. This building that we're in, 1004th Street here in San Rafael, they may have a 15, 18% load factor. Let's make it 20 to make it real easy.
Yeah, I think it's
So
at least.
so a 20% load, you've got some beautiful lobby, elevators, bathrooms, conference room downstairs. You can borrow, if you want. But what they've done is they've added to your square footage, your usable square footage, by that load factor, adding a percentage. If your load factor is 20%, they've added 20% to that, and you pay rent on that portion.
Gold.
Yeah, so that's something to factor in. So if someone says this is 10 by 10 square feet, you want to figure out, is that the usable square footage, which includes the load, or it's the actual square footage, or the rentable square footage, which will include the load.
Yeah.
So that same 10 by 10, they'll call it 120 square feet, and you'll pay $2 a foot, and you're going to be paying $240 versus the $200 rent to make it real easy.
So what I'm gathering from this is you need a good real estate broker to analyze that, to compare apples to apples, and also give you some advice.
Yeah, and I take a good look at it and figure out what the load is. I go in and I use a laser. I measure the actual square footage, the usable square footage of the space. I ask them what the load factor is, and what I like to do is, if it's off by much, I argue. If it's bigger, I just keep my mouth shut and don't say anything if I'm representing the tenant.
How often does that happen?
More often than you would think. Sometimes older buildings, mom and pop operations, they'll say, oh yeah, this is 1,000 square feet. They give you some exact 1,000 square feet, and I look, it's all irregular.
Yeah.
And so we had one where we actually signed a lease, and it was represented as 1,000 square feet. The owner wrote the lease. There was no disclosure about that. We have a lot of disclosures. One disclosure might say the measurement of the space is not an exact science. Landlord and tenant agree that the price they're paying for the space that they're getting is what they agree to. And if it's determined that the square footage is off, they're not going to argue about it. Now, this landlord wrote his own lease. That clause was not in there. We were told we were getting 1,000 square feet on San Anselmo Avenue. Turned out we were getting 800 square feet at $4 per foot.
Oh, now that's a big difference.
So luckily, before we occupied the space, we went back to the ownership and we said, "What's the deal here?" And he goes, "Oh, it's always been 1,000 square feet, as far as I can remember back." And luckily we addressed that, and we had an amendment to the lease because the square footage calculated was so off, and we took care of that. So that's the scoop today: load factor, usable and rentable square footage, and get a good broker to help you negotiate your lease.
And that good broker would be
me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I gotta say that's one of the reasons I have Mark on the show, is because he actually is a very good real estate broker.
And these leases have become so voluminous lately, haven't they?
Oh my gosh! Well, with the offers that we're writing, a pretty straightforward offer is about 28 pages with the disclosures for a proposal to lease for a space, and then when the leases come back, you get all kinds of exhibits, addendums, disclosures, building rules and regulations, And if the landlord's writing their own lease and it's not a standard form, that's where the tenant really wants to take a good look at that and make sure
Good point.
that it's what they argued with. And sometimes we get the attorneys involved because I'm not an attorney.
I was just going to ask about.
I'm not an attorney. I can make sure that what the lease that comes back is what we talked about, but when additional language is in there, that might be a good time to get a good real estate attorney involved to get the language in there. In San Anselmo, we've got some flood language in our leases. What happens if the place floods?
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Very good. All right, when we come back, we're going to have some closing comments. Also, I think, Mike, there's a couple things left on this that you may want to cover.
Yeah, we can take a trip down memory lane about some of the things in the past that perhaps some of the audience remembers.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. All right, so you're listening to The Best of Investing with Edward Brown. We've got my co-host Mark Cooper of HL Commercial and our special guest Mike Morrongiello of Bay Area Wealth Builders. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing will be right back. Save this one. Yeah, the lease that I use for my building in Sunnyvale, it's a standard industrial one. They call it a ball buster.
Is that the AIR?
Yeah.
Yeah, the AIR, yeah.
It's a goodie.
It's a goodie. The nice thing is the first couple pages are really the only ones you change. That's where the fill-in stuff and
Right. Once you have the boilerplate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's you're like it's a ball buster. Yeah.
I'm assuming that a lot of triple net is still the.
Yeah, that's what this one is. That's what I've got.
Yeah. I'm seeing some double nets out there. I'm working with a lot of investors. We see double net, and so something. This Dollar General came up in like Reading area.
Okay.
It's like about 6.5% return. Double net. Landlord maintains the roof, the parking lot, and snow removal.
Interesting.
Snow removal. So it's up there in the Sierra foothills, and that's a landlord expense of snow removal.
Where is this at?
It's like near Reading.
Okay. Yeah, I get a little bit of snow there.
Kind of like up. It's farther up into the hills.
Oh, okay.
If I told you the town, you'd be like, what? So it was pretty interesting. But that's a California Dollar General 6.5 cap. So that's pretty. Some people like those.
Yeah, I had when I had to renew my lease, the tenant needed some improvements, and this time I think I was pretty smart. I said, "Tell you what, you pay all your improvements, whatever they cost, because you decide,
right?
And whether you do everything or nothing of what you want, and I'll give you a break on the lease."
On the rent.
For the triple net, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, with the renewal price.
Right.
I said, ordinarily it'd be here. I'll give it to you for here, but you do all the improvements. It's a good thing I did because all kinds of stuff comes up that you don't think about Title IX and all this.
Right.
Oh.
My question for Mark, I guess maybe you can answer this, is how bankable is a triple net lease if you want to go borrow against it? If you have a class, you really strong tenant.
So, I mean, and you can have a corporate lease.
Right.
You can have a franchisee.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a big difference with.
Especially a long-term lease.
Yeah, you're looking at, because the longer the less time left on that lease, every year it's worth less and less. Yeah. It's like, so,
actually,
there are lenders that'll specialize in that. We'll see how much time we got. Yeah, I'll mention it. You can say, what are you seeing out there? I'll talk about the Dollar General.
Okay. There you go.
How much time is it?
5 minutes.
Okay.
We can do it.
It's going to be fast,
Do you want to do your thing there, or just?
Hold on.
We don't have a trivia question, so we really have the three.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
So welcome back to The Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Cooper of HL Commercial. What do you got? What are you seeing in the market nowadays, Mark?
I'm working with a lot of 1031 exchange folks, and some people are really cap rate driven. So for those folks, Tractor Supply just came up in Petaluma that I like. It's a retail deal. Doesn't include the Tractor Supply, but the other retail spaces in the same center. That's looking good, about 6.5% return. And then a Dollar General just came up in California, and that's about another 6.5. And that's a double net. It's not a triple net. You guys know the difference?
Yeah.
One of the ends.
So,
I know it's one less.
One less end. So we're talking about triple nets. We're talking about net taxes, net insurance, and net all other expenses. So so in this case, this property is up in the Sierra foothills, and the landlord is maintaining the roof, the parking lot, and snow removal, which can get costly. So it's still a pretty good deal, and if anybody is selling one property and looking to do an exchange, I'd love to talk to them. I'm seeing some interesting stuff here in Marin in terms of multifamily, And then we look all over the Bay Area and California for triple net deals. So that's pretty good. And I think that we were talking about financing at the break too.
Yeah, about the quality of the lease and how bankable that is, and is it financeable?
Right. So what we're seeing, oftentimes they look at the property. They're also going to look at the borrower and make sure they're not over leveraged. The banks don't want to see a property that's going to go dark. And there's corporate leases versus franchisees. The Dollar General is a corporate lease. We're seeing a lot of kind of like Taco Bell, Wendy's, chicken, fast food is good. What we like to say for the triple nets is you don't want something that's sold over the internet per se. The nice thing about those dollar stores is people aren't buying stuff for $1 and waiting for it to come on Amazon. This is a different type of business. Paint stores are good. Auto supply, they can't ship paint or oil over the internet.
Right.
So those are good. And each year of the lease, the value of the property actually goes down a little bit versus anything else that's going to appreciate until that tenant renews again. They are bankable, but it depends on the strength of the tenant financially. Is it corporate? Is it a franchisee?
So even if they have an option, that doesn't really help because you don't know if they're going to exercise it.
Yeah, option's not great. In a lot of places, they can just build a new one across the street and sell that as a new triple net, and then you've got a vacant building.
Don't scare me like that.
Yeah. But if
It assumes the land is available, though.
Well, that's true.
Oftentimes the Dollar General, there's one every 5 miles. But if you're looking for multifamily in Marin or triple nets all across California or other states, I'd love to talk to you, especially if you're doing an exchange, and we do a lot of them.
Give out your information one more time.
Yeah, Mark Cooper, HL Commercial, 415-608-1036. That's MARK at HLCRE.com. Hungry Lion crosses river easily.
See, I remember that. That's a good tagline. And Mike, I want to thank you again for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Give us one quick memory lane of taxes.
Well, if let's say, I'll throw out the acronym ACRS.
I remember.
Accelerated Cost Recovery System.
Because when I got my tax degree in 1981, that was just coming into play.
Yeah, 15-year depreciation on an accelerated basis. What that did is it spawned a lot of people to be making investments for tax losses. Because at that time you could offset income against all kinds of losses.
And the rates were a lot higher, too.
And of course, we know what resulted when they made the changes in that code. There was some changes in the real estate market after that. So, again, people should study this, pay attention to it. It's very profound what could be happening around the pike.
And then the Tax Reform Act of '86 came out. TEFRA, Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act.
These are like test questions.
That's right. When I was in college, we were working off the code of 1954.
Oh, boy.
But they hadn't changed it until
86.
Yeah, that's right. Because even in 81, they changed, but they didn't complete the whole code. All right, guys, we're going to cut out for today. Here's our thoughts for the day. Jimi Hendrix, the wise musician, said, "Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens." Pretty good. And Norman Thomas, actually not sure who that is, but he said, "The secret of a good life is to have the right loyalties and hold them in the right scale of values." I like that too. All right. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
So long. I was on it. It was a cliffhanger there.
Very cool.
That's a wrap.
So the website.
Oh, yeah. I know.